I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and this is the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship 2025. We are approaching the end of week 1, and we have an exciting match that we're about to watch. It is exciting for several reasons, of course, both very strong teams, and we know this, but a particular milestone is that Team Ukraine, who happens to be the highest rated team in the tournament, if you look at the average rating of all the players, I think we're witnessing for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, somebody in the chat correct me if I'm wrong, that we're gonna have 5 masters on one side lined up for the match. And most teams don't have 5 masters to begin with. Well, Ukraine has 9 out of 10 people on the roster, and 5 masters are lined up today. Portugal has 2, and honestly, Portuguese lineup is pretty strong, and also Portugal has history on the side. They have their highest finish as something that they want to repeat. In 2022, Team Portugal was very close to claiming 3rd place, but they stayed 4th, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that 2021? Oh, I think I should remember this. No, that was 2022. That was 2022. Anyway, so Portugal has the history, they have the grit, they have the team spirit, and honestly, the lineups are actually not that bad for them, even though the average rating is a little bit lower. If you just look at the way the pairings are, on table 1, Ricardo Araujo Sporter will definitely have reasonable chances, maybe even 50% chances, maybe even a little bit more, against Yaroslav Hersemenko, the screen name lawyer. On table 2, Pavlo Brin will definitely be the favorite against Licinho Ferreira, who is a newer toss-up between one of the newer masters with the screen name Smile Hyphen versus Mestre 77. And here, around a 60% favorite would be the Ukrainian in my view. Now on table 4, a complete toss-up between Maxim Baziluk and Guillermo Neves with the screen name Glovier, one of the 3 masters lined up. Yes, Sporter is also a master, of course. So Sporter, Glovier, and João Margarido are the masters on the Portuguese side, and everybody are the masters on the side of Portugal. Yeah. Oh yeah, and for those of you who are newer to these streams, just wanted to let you know that the way a master is defined, it's not just some sort of compliment. There's a particular rating threshold that you need to cross at some point in your lifetime in order to be deemed master. Anyway, but table 5 is the one that we're going to be following. These are the 2 highest rated players, João Margarido of Portugal and Kirilo Manikov, who is the highest rated player in Ukraine, an important theorist for the game. His peak rating is 809, and this should be immensely exciting. So we will be monitoring all games, but we will be starting with this duel, and as soon as these guys are done, then we're going to watch somebody else, and they are proceeding at a brisk pace. Both players have chosen patriotic meeple colors, Adrier with his traditional blue to match one of the colors on the flag, and João with green to match also colors on the flag. Even position so far, 11 points for the Portuguese player, 10 for Ukraine, and a couple of incompleted features for every player. So there's a 3-point road for blue, which is pretty safe. Still plenty of road ends in the game, although 4 have gone out, so it might be a while before blue gets this meeple back. And a 4-point city for blue, which is sharing a square with the 4-point monastery of João. But now an excellent tile for blue, preparing to finish a 12-point city, and this is one that is quite difficult to attack. Of course, the negative side effect is that blue is giving green some monastery points as compensation. Green is starting a new road. Blue got finally bailed out of his dangerously placed road, got himself 4 points. João immediately with the city cap got himself some extra points as well. The game is proceeding at a very brisk pace. Adrier with the road monastery presumably wants to go over here or over here for some stacking options. This is also an option, but I'm not a huge fan of exposing an attacking platform against my own city, although it might be worth the risk for positional benefit. It's nice to control this road. Anyway, so probably I expect either this move or this move. This move gives the most points, but it has some problems. First of all, it doesn't have any additional monastery spots near it, because there's no particular stacking threat, so you're kind of going to need to use both road tiles, all road tiles to build up. Then another problem is that it creates a relatively large field with 2 completed cities, a third one on the way, and a gigantic number of green squares. And probably green could be the first one to take a crack at that field. But Kirillov decides that 6 points is simply too many to pass up. Positionally not optimal, but a monastery is a monastery is a monastery. To modify a famous poem slightly. Oh, one thing I also wanted to say, as João was trying to break Kirillov's city and Kirillov's trying to well, this is slightly more precise. The reason why this is slightly more precise is like if we go over here, then this square gets blocked and so on and so on. Anyway. João chooses a different approach, which is interesting. There must be reasons for this. There must be reasons for this, right? Well, then maybe Kirillov is looking forward to drawing some big tiles here and trying to block the square and get himself a larger city versus João's blocked 2-point city. Whilst Kirillov is thinking where to place this monastery, and he goes, and he forgoes the monastery, really. He just wants to put some pressure on this here square, which is interesting. But I kind of understand him, but I don't like this move. You know what? What Kirillov should have done. He should have gone over here. Just over here, right? And tried to simply equalize the monastery of green. Instead, green makes a reasonable move. Starting a new monastery over here, controlling the city, but it's a tad too slow, and now blue is short on meeples a little bit. Well, let's see what we get out of this situation. Hi, Sergey. Adrier is trying to perhaps invade the city with his last meeple, looking for a Dorito plus triple city combo. These are fewer and far between, but he doesn't go for it. That's interesting. I guess he's not that interested in invading the city as he's interested on simply preventing his opponent from doing the same, I presume. Yeah, he just calmly finishes a 4-pointer. 10 points behind at the moment. João has boatload of meeples trying to invade the city at the top. Very difficult position for Adrier. Like, I wonder what happened, because the tile draws, they were not particularly obscene or anything. It felt like the tile draws were relatively even, but 10 points on the scoreboard and a lot of problems for Kirillov here. Let's see how he goes about his comeback. Well, one way that I see this happening is maybe we can block this square, and maybe we can get a road monastery and use one of these 2 lucrative spots to get some quick points. We might also go here and then get a city tile and try to block the field invasion that João is now trying to commit, but it's not going to work because João immediately gets himself an invasion tile. But Adrier continues his monastery. He now finishes his monastery and scores for the city extra, and he will be looking to fight for this big field. But still, the Portuguese player has threats and threats everywhere. We're now even on the scoreboard. João with an excellent field invasion, which goes through here or here. But Adrier with the fantastic tile draw, with this triple city, he blocked the opportunity for João to finish this city. He blocked his own monastery in the process, but this guy here has 5 points, whereas this blocked guy here has 2 points. Moreover, after this draw, there's only one tile that's remaining in this square, and maybe even Kirillov doesn't have to block anything. Blue can just hope that green simply does not draw the last triple city tile and that this meeple remains stranded with 1 point without any further interference from his opponent. João with a straight line, no particularly productive place to use it. Maybe looking to shape the board to his liking. I did not like this move. I think a slightly better opportunity was to go over here to work the field a little bit. The players are playing so fast that we're now even on screen, but Adrier finishes an 8-pointer. João gets himself another city in the shared field. Adrier now 7 points ahead, and there's even scenarios after this field invasion how he can even sometimes withstand green stealing. Wait, green is not. Whoa, 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 whoa! I forgot. Kirillov's ahead in this city. So if green successfully connects, it only averts a disaster. Really, this is a terrible position for João. And this is why it's important to zoom out when you're streaming. Yeah, what does he even do? Maybe this idea? Yeah, you go for a 6-point farmer and then try to sneak in your farmer like this into the main field with a couple of curves. This is probably what he's going for. Maybe something that Kirillov can prevent. Note that Adrier has a majority on this here field, but not for long. João's trying to invade with his last meeple. But still. So let's say if João invades here, Kirillov's still 7 points ahead on the scoreboard. Ah, but the field is going to be... No, it's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be under green's control. So Kirillov really needs to think hard about this one. He needs to decide whether he can first of all he can afford green connecting to the city, and he decides that nah, he wants to block. And João really doesn't have much of a choice. He kind of needs to invade the field, and Adrier can simply block here. Yeah, that's a nice sequence. Pretty easy decision, and oh, this has to be so painful. The pain. Look at this. He had the tile in hand. And to rub it in, a 7-point monastery for the Ukrainian, yeah. Now, João is going to have the field, but the ruin is surely going to be enough with the 16 points that it provides to make sure that the Ukrainian master takes away the first one. By the way, the events have been so rapid that I even forgot to tell you that I've prepared a little surprise for the winning team today, whichever team it is. So my long-term viewers will have an idea of what the surprise might be. I'm just gonna say that I practiced hard before the match. Alrighty, so 1 Adrier, 1 João, a key duel for Portugal into trying to crack Team Ukraine. And they're right into the second one. In the meantime, let me just update the scoreboard real quick, if that's at all possible. It's going to take a few seconds. So we have quite natural opening moves. This city is getting restricted. João is trying to equalize everything that Adrier is starting. Yeah, so this road is now suffering a little bit, but this road of João is suffering as well. A lot of blocky moves at the start, also sensitive square over here. Green surely is looking to place some sort of city plus road tile that restrict the square to only 3 tiles. In the meantime, only 3 tiles fit into this square. In any case, also, maybe a bit of haste with this monastery, I'm not sure. I would have maybe preferred placing it over here, although now it doesn't make any difference as 2 monasteries are placed nearby. And also note how these 2 road ends will end up merging. This is definitely green pre-building a 4-point loop road. So did the scores update? Yes, they did. Let me just do this. Okay, there we go. It should now work. No other duels have finished. Yeah. There's the scoreboard is a bit too much, no? Let me just try and see. If I make it full screen, can you even see João's meeples? I would hope so. So, João manages to finish a 4-point city and be the first on the scoreboard, which I hope that you can see. If not, do let me know, and then I'll adjust the scoreboard accordingly. This position looking pretty good for the Portuguese player because he has a lot of threats here. Well, first of all, the monasteries are savage. Second, he's threatening to get a straight line and block blue with just 1 point over here. He's also threatening to place a tile over here and not allow blue to recover his road meeple. Yeah, so this position is really, really good for green. Now we know that green is going to lose his meeple perhaps, but no, oh man. And he played this move instantly. This is a misprioritization from João. And yeah, it's gonna cost him a little bit. So he's trying to sort of save his road, but it's so not worth it. It was just so much better to simply ignore this meeple and go over here, go for the 4 points, because now what might happen, now this square is sensitive, and look at Adrier, he's so smart. He's now trying to build the 4-point loop himself and trying to put pressure on this square, which now is covered up by João. Now, there will be a curve here, there will be maybe a dagger over here, but blue, in the meantime, took this city. So it, in fact, is going to be blue who's going to benefit from this dagger. Yeah, very dynamic position, but I was praising João's here, which looks pretty strong. It has a downside that this city piece will make it so that it's going to be quite clunky to fill. He's going to need to use a city piece here, but the setup here, the long-term setup, is that from blue's perspective, we're going to be waiting for some sort of extender tile or maybe a splitter tile, like a hourglass splitter tile, going here. And then we can use it to invade the city. Then we can use a Dorito to invade this city. And basically, the main ideal plan is that we have some sort of 2 versus 1 majority in this city. And we also get to finish our monastery in the process. In the meantime, the Portuguese player is putting tremendous pressure on this here square. I will be extremely surprised if this road meeple makes it out alive. In order for this to happen, he would need to get one of the 3 remaining daggers, which he might have better use for in other places in any case. And then he would need to get some sort of city plus road tile, like a road end, maybe a butterfly tile perhaps. Well, none of that is going to happen because the standard move for João here is just simply go here, right? And just block the square and not take any chances. So this is what I would expect. What was that? Like, what was that move, João? Like, what was that move? What was the purpose of that move? Okay, continuing the city at the bottom, but it's not the shape of the city that you want to be building. Like, if you start a city with a Dorito, really, the extender is the last tile that you want to be adding, so now he gets bailed out a little bit. Now, the shape of his city is much more promising, but yeah. But it gets broken anyway. I'm not sure. It seems to be a bit of a hasty decision, and as a result of all these things here, Blue's meeple is still alive, and now after Blue's defense, this was a really smart move, it is not entirely unrealistic for Blue to go here and here. Also, a very gutsy move from Kirlo, trying to cover up his city on one side, and now he's going to go here, and then he's going to have a 50-50 chance of completing this city if he gets 2 out of the 3 remaining daggers, and he goes for it. The downside is that he helps protect this city a little bit, and now João could, in theory, hope to finish this city, actually. Yeah, it's not entirely unrealistic, because Adrier does not get a blocking tile. He probably wants to do something like this or this, or score 2 points or whatever. Maybe even scoring 2 points here. I guess he doesn't want to do that. He wants to keep the meeple tension in this area. Now, he can actually now go here and try to prepare the completion of this road. He does not bother, because João gets one of the daggers anyway. Now, only a 25% chance for Adrier to finish this city. In the meantime, though, Adrier is doing pretty well at the top, finishing his monastery, still staying ahead on the scoreboard. And now, setting up the unification of these here 2 cities, or in case he draws a splitter, he can still go over here and score simply 4 points for this little guy and just let green have his 8-point ruin. I think a bit of a miss from João. He's taking 2 points, but I think a better move was going over here. And the reason why it was better to go over here, because that would have been a Sophie's Choice block. If João were to go over here, then Adrier would need 3 daggers. I mean, the same dagger in 3 places when there are only 2 of those available. But now this here tile is dangerous, 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 dangerous. Adrier has 12 points ahead on the scoreboard as he finishes one of his monasteries. João desperately trying to block over here. Adrier is going to try maybe connect to the city at the bottom. João Margarido is finally blocking this tile, and that's a complete block. But he's going to have his own city blocked. By the way, the reason why this is a complete block is because all the 3 tiles that would normally fit over here are already on the board. Adrier places his last meeple. No, not his last meeple. That was João who places his last meeple at the bottom, looking to desperately cut the difference on the scoreboard. Another way to do so, of course, would be drawing the last curve. Perhaps that fits into this square. Or, you know, getting this. This is a left-handed dagger, something that was also in short supply. 10 points is the difference on the scoreboard. Only 10 tiles remaining. Straight line for João. He places the last meeple on a farm, but another quick point tile for Adrier. This game is proceeding at an exceptionally fast pace. Double city caps for João, getting a meeple back, cutting it closer on the scoreboard. Adrier with the monastery. No obvious place to use it. Is it the time to put our last meeple to work and just score 5 points? With 7 tiles remaining, this might be the case. He chooses not to do that as of yet. João with a Dorito tile. Not an obvious move. Maybe we can go here and block a city cap Or that. Or that. That makes sense, actually. Because there are a couple of city caps that can allow him to get a meeple back. What does Kirilo do? Maybe just go over here on the farm and try put some pressure on this guy. A different approach, but a similar idea. Creates a vulnerability next to the Portuguese city. João with a monastery. Defends his city a little bit, looking to get that last vanilla city cap tile, which is still in existence. Now Adrier needs to make the decision. How hard does he want to try to finish this city? And I think that going over here for 5 points on the road is actually not such a bad idea. And he still has a chance to finish it. Or he could just simply draw the last vanilla tile that João uses here. This is definitely a time where Kirilo should be using a good chunk of his 7.5 minutes available to him. He decides that it is worth going for, but where's that meeple? Why no meeple? It is a bit puzzling. Let's see what comes out of this, and João getting a little bit impatient. Just a little bit impatient. Not finishing his city. And I think the best move for João here is to just go here and complete the city without meepling it. The reason is, if I'm not mistaken, then the last tile should be the dagger that fit into the square, and Kirilo can actually finish his city, but I don't think he should, because finishing this city would, of course, double the points for this meeple, but oh yeah, this move also works. That's the same idea, denying Adrier these 4 points. But Adrier can just take 4 points over here. And it is better to take 4 points over here than finishing his city, because he didn't place a meeple on this road, which was a mistake. Because he didn't place a meeple on this road, then he now is not able to finish his city without giving João a huge compensation. So first of all, if he were to place the tile over here, he would be prolonging his opponent's road by 6 points. He would also be adding 2 extra castles to Green's field, not something that he wants to be doing. That will be actually 12 points worth of compensation. Kirilo saying, GG, you are too fast. And I have to agree. Yeah, João, I think, rushed this one. And Kirilo saying, I don't like this kind of pressure. I mean, there is no pressure. You have 7 minutes remaining. I guess that was a slightly awkward compliment to try and... a slightly awkward way to try and compliment his opponent. But the outcome is what it is. Yeah, João was saying, not one of my best days. Busy day here at home. Didn't want to play, but had to. Yeah, it sometimes happens. Although, in situations like this, maybe it's better to line up a different player. Because there are 10 players in the team on the roster for that exact purpose. Oh yeah, one important change in the rules that the players are now discussing is that this year, the starting player in each game is not alternated. It's randomized for every single game. So it is possible, like in this duel, for one player to be the starting player twice in a row, which definitely puts them in a favorable position. But it is what it is. There have been valid reasons for why this has been done. In any case, congratulations to Adrier and Team Ukraine for getting the first match points. which has not yet been shown yet. Ukraine's doing very well. Lawyers ahead of Sport R. Baziluk is ahead of Glovier, and now we're going to see how they're doing in their second game. It has to be an immensely exciting duel. So Baziluk is also a very fast player. Has won the first game against Guillermo Neves. But Guillermo is the starting player in the second game. Although Maxim Baziluk's position is definitely better. He has already 4 points on the scoreboard, the source of which we just saw, and a 4-point monastery. Glovier places a yellow meeple on a new city. Baziluk is going to start a new city of his own. Maybe next to this monastery, or maybe here putting a teeny tiny bit of pressure on this road. I'm not sure which one I would prefer. Also not a crazy idea, and that'll be very much Maxim's style. Yeah, to do just this and drop a farmer. I knew it. I saw that coming from a mile away. And by a mile, I literally mean like 1 second. Alrighty, well, what are we having? So Glovier has a bunch of choices. He can just clean off one of the city caps, or he can go for the field fight straight away, finishing his city drop. And there's going to be only 2 tiles remaining that fit into this square, and the difference between 3 and 2 is statistically significant, to say the least, and this is something that Glovier recognizes. He chooses to go for the farming route. Baziluk cleans one of the city cap. Glovier takes the other with the same dagger that he had before, and it looks like we're headed to an open position, a high-scoring game. Glovier with an excellent farmer, and also a lovely monastery here, doing just fantastic. But Baziluk now building up. What are these moves? It appears that maybe my interface is a little bit slow. That's why all these moves are happening seemingly instantly. Okay. Ah! Oh, I hate to be doing that. Apologies to the players for the slight disruption. Okay, what are we having? Glovier is still ahead with the 3 monasteries versus 1 monasteries, but Baziluk has threats. Threat number 1, field invasion. Threat number 2, the completion of his 14-point city. Threat number 3, he can go over here and block Glovier's invasion. And we're running a bit short on invasion tiles. So first of all, both road monasteries have gone out. So the only type of tile that fits over here is a curve. A second, 5 curves have already gone out, so it could be a long wait before Guillermo gets a tile for this field invasion. And that's why it seems that Guillermo's strategy is just not to rely on this field at all, and simply trying to score. He was threatening an 8-point city, which Baziluk immediately stopped, but Glovier got himself a road end and a meeple back from the monastery. Now this road will be probably picked up by Baziluk. Also, 1 curve has been drawn, so only 3 remaining for this square. But Baziluk does not want to take the road, which I disagree with. Glovier probably looking to score this 5-point monastery, especially if his field is about to get blocked. He's definitely looking for ways to score points. And especially since he's ahead on the scoreboard, he has a clear winning path here. He could just keep scoring and make sure that the field stays small enough that Baziluk cannot outrun him, that Baziluk cannot catch up. In the meantime, Baziluk does catch up slightly. And let's see if he now finds the best move. Oh, there's so many good opportunities. There's so many good opportunities like you wouldn't believe. Okay, this is one of them. This is a normal move. So we can see that Glovier defends his field invasion, and there's still 3 curves that fit into the square. Baziluk now chooses to take quick points. Could the players please slow down? I'm trying to commentate here. Like, this is an interesting game. Oh man, it looks like somebody had too many energy drinks. Or, you know, they've played so many thousands of games that these positions are super simple for them. And in fact, this position is not that complicated. But after the city has completed, Glovier should not be liking his position too much. So you know what idea I like for him? How about we YOLO it and go over here and drop another farmer, and then we try to get a curve and try to invade with 2 of these guys. We will be without a meeple for a while, but maybe we can get this guy back. That would be a tad too risky at the moment, but we need to do this sort of stuff soon, because if we don't do it now, then Baziluk's gonna drop a farmer here in order to neutralize this guy, and then we will need to find another field invasion platform, which is easier said than done, because this 15-point field is actually quite neatly covered up from all sides. I mean, we would be looking for some crazy opportunities like getting a crossroads, trying to ninja farmer all the way from the outside. Hi Ivan, hi João. Commiserations on your loss. And Glovier goes for the content move. Loving that idea. Beauty, beauty, beauty. So now Baziluk needs to figure out what to do with that. Alright, so we're back after a little bit of disruption. And some developments have been in place. So interestingly, Glovier used the curve to finish his monastery, but there's still 2 more curves remaining that go over here. Baziluk is 7 points ahead, but Glovier finishes a monastery and starts a new road. That's a huge tile for him. He's now ahead again on the scoreboard. Baziluk with a Dorito tile, probably looking to go over here, get some points, and also maybe get himself a chance to drop some more farmers. Glovier with a monastery does not have a lot of choices. Maybe he could go over here, obstruct the city somewhat, or go over here and just add a monastery point. Really, the options aren't great. Also, going over here is an option. Creating a platform to invade the city of red if he so needs later, but this would have the downside of exposing another field platform. Well, let's see what he does. Yeah, he chooses to simply add 1 point. He's not even trying to finish that city necessarily, but the penultimate curve has been drawn by Maxim. So only 1 tile that fits into this square. And really, Glovier's entire game depends on it. If he ain't gonna get the tile, he's toast. Toast! Baziluk gets himself a city tile. He's now trying to finish this city at the top. And surely the Portuguese player is not going to allow that. He's double checking the tiles. He's figuring whether to invade or block. But is it even possible to block? And no, it is not. So it looks like yellow will need to spend the tile on this invasion. It is a bit unfortunate, but we cannot under any circumstance allow this big threat. Or can we? Not a crazy idea. It's just to allow red to complete the city, but make sure to have a stronghold on the field. Maybe going over here and dropping a farmer and starting a huge field fight. That would be one idea. Or, you know, invading here is also a pretty good option, because upon the completion of the city, if you are fortunate enough to get the invasion tile, then you could meeple a long road like this, and then after the completion of the long road, possibly with the last remaining crossroad tile, you can even drop a farmer for 6 points. So it's actually a lucrative sequence that Guillermo can plan for, and this is the move that I expect. But this is also a good moment to spend the time count up the points, look at your possible win conditions, decide, can yellow even win without this curve or not? And he goes for the invasion, which I like. Maxim takes 4 quick points, whilst also creating a platform for invasion. Glovier is going to take 4 quick points off his own, I presume. And this is what happens. Now we expect a farmer here from red any minute. 10 points is the difference, and red should probably do it right now. Or red could also go here, meeple this road. That's also pretty neat. Not allowing Glovier to meeple this road. Yeah, that's actually pretty neat. So it's either a farmer here or a road here. I'm not sure which one's best. He goes for the farm. Can't fault him for that. Glovier will get a fantastic tile. That is a crossroad. He's now taking 2 points and also trying to put pressure on this square. Baziluk with a straight line. He cannot really defend this square, but maybe he can meeple the road. Maybe he can drop another farmer. Not really sure how many options he has. He decides to do a bit of blocky. Glovier with a seemingly inconsequential Dorito. Is it one monastery point? Is it some sort of twisted farmer? Actually, this is not crazy. It's not crazy to go here, drop a farmer, threatening a re-invasion whilst also looking forward to finishing the city and maybe developing a little 6 or even 9 point field at the top if we have time. I'm not privy to all of the remaining tiles, but it certainly seems like something that is on Guilherme's mind in the moment. He simply takes 1 point. Baziluk with a city tile. A variety of options. He can go over here, drop a farmer, or he can go over here, drop a farmer. All these options are legit. Yeah, definitely going here looks like a legit route. Because there's still a crossroads. And let's say if Glovier gets a curve, there is still a chance for Baziluk to get some sort of curvy tile, namely this one, and then a crossroads here, and actually still overrun this field by 4 versus 3. So it does appear that going over here is the move. But it is easier said than done. Certainly as the Ukrainian, I don't like to be giving away my last meeple this easily. This is an incredibly tense position. But, you know, my hunch says over here. I don't even see any other candidate moves. Maybe just going here, adding a point, getting yourself another connection opportunity through a starting tile if you get a starting tile. That's actually also not crazy. That's very much not crazy. Well, let's see what he opts for. He has 8 minutes to ponder. Not something that he did very often, but you know, this is why he chooses to play so fast before, so that in critical moments like this, he has all the time in the world. And with 6 tiles remaining, I'm probably looking to solve this endgame pretty much exhaustively. So if I can get all the points, if I can count up all the remaining tiles, I might not even necessarily think about this positionally. I might just brute force the permutations. And he decides to go for the farmer, which makes a lot of sense because he's looking to get a starting tile, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or a straight line. Huh. This is a very smart move here from Baziluk. Definitely better than the one I was suggesting, and now the ball is in Glovier's court. So the move is definitely to go here. But is it though? Yeah, it's still not obvious. So do we try and block here? Block this connection? And then try to win with the curve? Is that enough? Or do we go here? I mean, it says a lot of points. So we're equalizing a 1-point city. Yeah. He decided that it's simply too much. He gets himself the road. He does give a meeple back to Baziluk. Will Baziluk be able to use it? We will find out soon enough. He's going to get the field invasion. He's going to still have the farming majority, I presume. But Glovier's ahead on the scoreboard. He has a monastery and a road. Baziluk, though, with the big ruin, should be still ahead because of his field ownership. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Why would, is that really the priority here? To just take 7 points? Am I not seeing something? Yeah, I just triple checked. There is still a curve remaining. And I don't think Baziluk wins this game in case of the field equality. He needs to reinvade this field. So he's going to need multiple moves. He's going to need a move here and a move here. And Glovier can do this. And then what does Baziluk do? Oh, yeah, that is rough. Okay. Glovier gets a straight line, which she is going to use here to get 7 points, I presume. Because there isn't just anything else to do in this position, really, is there? And he can just hope for a curve. And if he gets a curve, he just gets here. So all Glovier needs to calculate is what's the other tile other than the curve. And I don't think there's a curvy tile available here at all. Because this has gone out, the daggers has gone out, the crossbars have gone out, there's only one curve. So let's say we go here, we take 6 points for the field, we prolong our road. And then with the last tile, we go here, take 4 points for the road, win the field. And then with one more tile, Baziluk goes here, maybe, and equalize the field. Something like this. I think that the last tile is a straight line, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So then, it's really 50-50 for the game. If I'm not hallucinating completely. We'll let Guillermo count this out. He still has 2 minutes. So, I'm now going to double check. These are the last tiles and simply the highest scoring move for Guillermo. And Baziluk gets a straight line. And Glovier gets the curve and he's going to win this game. Right? I think so. I mean, of course, Baziluk invades. Guillermo invades. But Guillermo has a lot of extra stuff. He has the monastery. He has another field. Wait, but Baziluk also has 2 fields. It's going to be pretty close. I'm not sure who wins. No, it has to be Guillermo. The roads are just too much, right? Right? 9 points for the road. It is a lot. 4 points for the... Wait. Guillermo is saying GG's. Why is he saying GG's? Okay, what am I not seeing? So the field is tied for 30 points. Yowza. And Glovier gets 6 points extra. And Baziluk loses with an incredible score. I think this is a record, actually. It could be a WTCUC record because 146. Imagine scoring 146 points in a Carcassonne game and still losing. This has never happened to me in 10,000 games. Glovier with 154 also beating today Gustavo Arruda's record by 3 points. And the players combined score exactly 300 points. This has to make into the highlights of the week. So, congratulations to Glovier. But why is he saying GG's plural? Why is he saying GG's plural? Did they already play 3 games? I don't know what happened there. Let's see. No, it is 1-1, right? Why is he saying GG's? What did I get wrong? Somebody please help me out. Anyway. Pavel Breen predictably won against Lenicio Ferreira, so Ukraine is 1 game away, perhaps, from winning this match. But a lot will depend on table 1. Oh, so this is the 3rd game of Glovier already. So Glovier did get Portugal the point. I wonder why it doesn't show on Carcassonne.gg. Anyway, congratulations to Glovier and Team Portugal for getting the points. Yeah, okay, there we go, there we go. So, now our attention will go to the decider between Lawyer and Sportar. Another master versus master encounter, and it looks like we won't even need to watch because just 2 minutes ago, Yaroslav convincingly defeated Ricardo, giving Ukraine the 3rd and final decisive points in this match, and Ukraine will be winning this. The only variable that we don't know is the exact score, and for that, we're going to have to look at Mestre 77, who is still playing, I think, versus Smile Hyphen. This is actually looking good for Portugal, it seems. And it appears that either their 2nd or their 3rd game has just started. I want to triple check on the scoreboard. Well, at least we don't see it for now, and maybe it's more interesting if we just not find out. So, the score might still have significant impact on the tournament situation. So we need to start to make sense of this position. 36 tiles remaining, so that's half of the game ahead. Smile Hyphen with the red meeples is ahead, 13 points on the scoreboard. Mestre 77 is ahead. Well, he's not ahead. He's behind 11 points. And he chooses to sacrifice a couple of points, which I don't agree with. I think it was actually stronger to just score and keep the city as it is for now. Because now Smile Hyphen successfully defends. He's also setting up this road. But a huge tile for Mestre. Not only did he get to finish his city, of course, and drop a farmer. Wait. Okay. I just why? Am I hallucinating? Is this field... I don't think this field is occupied because this red guy is on the other side, right? And this is an unclaimed 6-point field. I am shocked. Again, what am I not seeing? Some green camouflagey meeple? What am I not seeing? I don't get any of that. Mestre probably wants to go over here to start a new city, put pressure on this guy, because there's still 2 tiles that fit into this square. Red is threatening big time, but no farmer here makes 0 sense. And look at this. Yeah. And also this move here by Mestre. So you see, that's the problem. Like, he meeples the field now, something that he could have done on the previous turn. And now, instead of going over here, which was super important, he allowed Smile Hyphen to get this here tile and cover up his city, which would not have been possible had this divider been placed over here. Yeah, actually, this is a good position for Red, believe it or not. Because Red has a 75% chance of finishing a monstrous city. He's now also putting additional pressure on this here square and threatening to trap Mestre's meeple. He's now trying to prevent that. Smile Hyphen with a straight road, probably looking to do something like this. Build up around that square, trying to build another monstrosity. However, we are running surprisingly and spectacularly shortened curves. So, Red chooses to do something else. He's now trying to block Mesh City, putting him into dilemma. Do we want to go over here and save a 50% chance of completing the city because there's one tile that's remaining here? Or do we want to go over here and score 4 quick points? And very quick answer for Meshchi. And he's now thinking whether it is worth to meeple the farm, and he goes for it. Honestly, it kind of makes sense. First of all, there's a 50-50 chance of connecting this way, and this is unblockable. Plus, in addition, he has himself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, one curve. In the meantime, Smile Hyphen just scores 4 points for a road, 1 point for the monastery, setting up another road. Meshchi gets 4 points. On the left, everybody keeps scoring and scoring and scoring and scoring, but the ultimate tile is drawn by Smile Hyphen. He finishes a large 18-point city, no, 20-point city if I'm not mistaken, together with a 4-point road and 2 meeples back. Surely now a horrible, horrible position for Meshchi, but maybe some chances. He needs to free up some meeples soon. He needs to get this curve. He needs to get this straight line. He needs to get this dagger. A lot of stuff that he needs to draw. So maybe going over here, putting some pressure on this square, defending this square indirectly could be one way to go. Just YOLOing it and going for the farm is another way to go. Although I wouldn't maybe be this desperate just yet. This move I severely dislike because it opens too many field invasion platforms, which the side with more meeples can use. And, yeah, 1 point does not appear to justify that. Now, Smile Hyphen draws the last curve, which makes the invasion over here impossible. He uses it to try and invade over here, but there are no curves remaining. Actually, we're very, very short on tile that fit into this square, but it doesn't matter. Smile Hyphen is going to get the last dagger, at least the last this kind of dagger. So this farmer, with all its wonderful 75% chance at the start, has now become a 0%, 0-point farmer with 0 potential and 0 utility. Smile Hyphen tries to invade the farm on the left to inflict emotional damage on his already defeated opponent, but is there a way for the Portuguese master, if not by rating them, at the very least by screen name? Let me just refresh this. Yeah, I'm not sure why this happens with BGA. Like this. So, and he, oh man. Yeah, this is really, really unfortunate. Meshchi drops a farmer in a situation, oh man. So he drops a farmer, and with 6 minutes on the clock, I think sadly he just miscounts tiles. Because the thing is, I'm not going to even bother recounting. There's nothing that fits into this square. And there's nothing that fits into this square, so this farmer is doomed at 3 points, whereas it was possible to still win if you just leave this tile alone. And then all you need to do as the Portuguese player is to find some sort of way to invade a bit later, right? Which I think was not impossible. Yeah. Maybe some sort of road tile combo if it exists. I'm not exactly sure what's remaining. What I am sure is that there are no curved tiles remaining that fit into that square. Maybe a bit of a nervousness / intimidation factor. But it's not that bad. It's good for viewers because this means that Smile Hyphen's going to equalize, and so we get a bit more Carcassonne to watch. We're going to have a decider. Monastery for the Ukrainian. Trying to be precise in the endgame. And now he's going to run down his clock of 9 minutes and 40 seconds. No, he's not. He's just going to take 4 points. City tile for Mestre. No ability to score. So find the prettiest place to discard this tile. And a straight line for Smile Hyphen, who manages to retrieve his monastery meeple. That's pretty neat. Yeah, you know what? It's actually a very, very instructive situation because even after the city completed and even after this farmer blocked, the Portuguese player, believe it or not, had realistic chances. All he needed to do is just take some time with 6 minutes on the clock, recount this tile, and make this move without dropping a farmer. Because then, if he just keeps a meeple in hand and does not burn it for 3 points, he can do all kind of things. For example, he can draw a straight line, giving him an extra monastery point and 6 extra points on the field. And then with the last farmer, instead of scoring... what? Instead of scoring 3 points, you can go maybe here with a cow and then invade here with a monastery and score not 3, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 27. Yeah. And he actually could have won. No? Wait, straight line? That's 28? 28, 20, wait, no, 29? No, not quite. I think he would have like lost by 1 point or something. But you never know. Because if you keep your options open, and if you try still preserve the chances for attacking the field, our opponent might make a mistake. They might just drop a 0-point farmer somewhere and then fail to connect to the field. What else could happen? Yeah, maybe we can score quick points. And then we can invade the field, in which case we win by 1. So still some chances for the Portuguese player, maybe just giving up a little bit too soon. Hopefully we're going to see a little bit more grit in that third and final duel, against in that third and final game of this duel. Again, the tiebreaker is important. Mestre is the starting player, but Smile Hyphen gets the first city. The Portuguese player responds immediately. The colors have shifted. Now Portugal is red, Ukraine is green, and the first monastery of the game is occupied by green, giving him a slightly more favorable position. Mestre, with a fantastic Dorito tile, probably looking to go over here, starting to build up a rhombus and starting to exert pressure on this square. Here is also an option, but it's not as good because it does not put pressure on the square. It's kind of simple. Smile Hyphen starts a new city next to his monastery and also exerting a bit of pressure on these here 2 squares of these 2 features nearby. I think it's something that we can ignore. So yeah, this move makes sense. It's a decent move. I think slightly stronger was actually to go over here by Mestre and just call green's bluff. Just not be afraid of this square whatsoever. Because it's actually quite difficult for green to block. But now, green has this route available to him, yeah, with extra points. Also, notice what's happening to the space. I think this move, believe it or not, could end up costing Mestre this duel because of the consequence. Because look at this. Because of lack of space in the opening, he's now going to accidentally build up Smile-Hyphen's monastery instead of completing his own city like this, right? And instead of exerting pressure on this guy, he's now getting his own city blocked. So these here ripple effects can manifest themselves in impactful ways. I'm so happy I managed to finish that sentence. Like, I'm giddy about this. So Smile-Hyphen gets the second row monastery and equalizes. Whoa, that's an interesting move by Mestre. This is creative. Smile-Hyphen, of course, immediately... Wow. What greed. Look at this. He meeples the road and pre-builds a city over here next to his monastery. This is kind of awesome. Mestre is now going to drop a farmer. No, he does not. He should. This field is going to be ginormous. In the meantime, Smile-Hyphen is trying to build up over here. Mestre cannot bother him because he needs this tile over here. Scores 2 points, now renews the threat of growing and completing his city with a couple of Dorito tiles and maybe triple city. That's going to be possible. Smile-Hyphen with a curve. He continues his road, does not drop a farmer just yet. Mestre is looking to continue his city over here. It's now kind of dangerous, because green can go over here and invade or something. So Smile-Hyphen now exerts patience. That's an excellent move. It was tempting. It was tempting to go over here, but he knows that he can wait. He wants to wait for a Dorito tile and rather finish this city. That's super smart. Mestre is now going to drop a farmer, which he should have done a few moves ago, but whatevs. And Smile-Hyphen gets to capitalize on his setup. Oh, this is pure beauty. This is when the map completes like a puzzle. This is why people get addicted to Carcassonne so much. I can only imagine the dopamine hit that just went through Smiley's blood circulation. Mestre gets 4 points and now creates a secondary field. The field will be important here. Smiley, premature. That's a serious strategic mistake by the Ukrainian player. He starts to fight for the field before consolidating. It was important to wait. He needed to take these 4 points first to deny Mestre easy scoring opportunities, because Smile-Hyphen's position is actually not that great. He needs to consolidate here before invading the farm. He actually needs to get this and drop a farmer here. This just makes the position way too volatile. It favors way too much the side that has more meeples, and at the moment this is the Portuguese player who really has his choice of moves. Like, so look at this. He can drop a farmer here. He can drop a farmer here. He can, I mean, go and drop a farmer here, although that's a bit crazy. He can drop a farmer here and try to connect through Smile-Hyphen City, or maybe through this route over here. Or he can not drop any farmers and do something like this. Try and just simply build up his city. He's trying to build up his city, albeit slightly differently. Smile-Hyphen places his last meeple, which is a tad dangerous, but he decided that it was important because Mestre's city was starting to feel a tad threatening. -4 points on the scoreboard, -3 on the meeples. Really wants to get a dagger tile soon. Mestre can do a variety of things. So again, he can invade some fields, or he can just go here and try and block this square. And I'm really excited about that last option. Certainly putting pressure on the last meeple of Smile-Hyphen is a good idea. What isn't a good idea is doing stuff like this, because this block by Smile-Hyphen was quite easy to anticipate. And it seems that then this farmer is going to get in so much trouble. First of all, it is possible that a big tile comes down here, and this guy is trapped at 3 points. Another problem is that this here guy is forever trapped, whereas this guy, the adjacent monastery of green, can still grow. So this is, iffy to say the least. Yeah, there wasn't really a good reason to drop a farmer there. Although, Mestre's position is just fine. He can invade the field, but just in time, Smile Hyphen improves his position by so much by completing the city on the right and dropping yet another farmer, waiting for one more curve, looking to connect. Over here, Mestri gets more points. Smile Hyphen also gets points. Yeah, Mestri really needs to do something about this meeple. He needs to use the monastery. Not here. It's not that urgent. Here. He really needs to get into that field before it gets blocked. Dagger tile for Smile Hyphen. Not clear what he's going to do with it. He is enjoying a 6-point lead on the scoreboard, though. Hi, Nalaheim. Yeah, both players were indeed playing with fire due to with the field delays. Alrighty, so finally, David Ventura, I believe, is Mestri 77. Do let me know if I got this right. Finally, David manages to connect the top field, but Smile Hyphen manages to connect the main field. So we have complete parity on all fields, except that long term, the Ukrainian has an extra farmer due to his chance to finish the monastery. And he also has the scoreboard points. So really, this position is just incredibly difficult for Mestri, and he will need to make some sort of a swindle. He needs to maybe drop a farmer here somehow, and then try to hope that Smile Hyphen cannot reinvade. But maybe a Smile Hyphen we can drop a farmer here. Or just score these 4 points, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there are only 2 curves remaining. That's kind of a bit iffy. No, he chooses to take out the meeple from the monastery. This gives Mestri a chance. Do we go for the farmer now? No, we don't. We take the points first. Again, still 2 curves. One of them is drawn by Smile Hyphen. He just gets 3 points. Still ahead on the scoreboard. Mestri has 8 points on the monastery, but this is not enough to compensate the scoreboard. The last curve is drawn by Mestri, which is a tile that he wants, but this is a tad premature, because what are you even going to do with this curve? Is it crazy to think of some sort of field invasion? Oh, I know. Check this out. Never mind. No, it still works. How about? No, it doesn't. Okay, I was thinking of going over here and dropping a farmer, like through a 5-point road like this, and I thought that the idea was very neat. The problem with that is that there are no starting tiles and no triple road plus city tiles. So yeah, this was a nice idea. I liked it. Nah. Anyway, 7 minutes to solve this position. 7 minutes to try and make the score respectable here. And for tiebreakers, it's not just about respect. It's very practical. The tiebreakers matter in a tournament like this a lot. There's a big difference between losing 2-3 or 1 against 4. A time disadvantage is felt, but still 6 minutes should be enough to solve this position. Well, he's thinking about it. And I'm getting paranoid. I actually have to refresh the page. Is he actually thinking? I think he is genuinely thinking. Yeah, nothing wrong with my connection. He's genuinely thinking because there's just not a good move. So I don't see a realistic field invasion. And all scoring moves seem to just not accomplish enough. Although there's a possible win route. We might go here for 5 points, hoping to get one of the 2 remaining road ends. If we get the road end, it's already 6 points in a meeple back. But that's a big if, because we don't want to necessarily be stuck with just one meeple. Because there are several good connection platforms, and the best one is surprisingly not here, but actually here, through this here hole. No, not through this here hole, but it's basically it's possible to invade here, just believe me. Actually, no, it's kind of lame. Yeah, the best connection platform is really here, but not too many tiles that fit there. So this field is harder to access than it might seem, and this is something that David is lamenting at the moment. Ninja farmers are now very hard, so they're still curvy tiles, even though this is the last pure curve. In particular, oh! Look at this. 3 Doritos with the road remaining, which means that at some point we can go here and drop a farmer like this, or we can just go here and leave it as it is, and then we hope to get a tile here and drop a farmer. So that would be very much the style of the Ukrainian captain Sergei Zaharenko. So we first of all go here, we prepare the field connection, and then when we get some sort of a field Dorito, just try to picture this, so we do something like this, right? And then we drop a farmer, and then we not only drop a farmer, but we also make the connection unblockable, and then with the road Dorito, we connect. And when we penetrate the field all the way here, and the field should be a game-decisive feature. So an interesting choice here from Mestre, kind of a bit of a waiting move. He's keen on waiting. A field connection would have worked. I mean, hindsight is 20/20, of course, but a field connection would have worked. Over here, farmer, and then this. Now, with one of these tiles gone out, it's a bit harder to invade the field. And it's still possible to go here and kind of prepare a bit of a normal field connection placing here, but it's a threat which is quite easily neutralized. So for now, Mestre remains at -3 overall and minus a meeple. Wait a minute, there's another way to win the game. We don't have to win the field. How about we just go here and invade this ruin with one of the 2 remaining Doritos like this? This is also an option, but does David see it with only 2 minutes remaining on his clock? In a position with a big field, it is very easy to tunnel on the field, and there's 9 cities on it. It's worth 27 points, but you don't need 27 points in order to win the game. The 15 or 16 points from the ruin are totally enough. If you manage to get it done, and he goes for it! Smile Hyphen, with a straight line, is looking forward to do something about it. So he probably wants to go here and block. I presume, no, he does not. He goes for an invasion, but there's still crossroads. It's possible to block. And Mestre Short is going to go over here and try to do something about this. And also Smile Hyphen placed this instantly. I'm not sure how much I like this. I pretty much don't. But is he going to get an invasion tile? No, he's not. But he now can go over here. And in fact, this is his only move to go over here. Yeah, because it's a nice defense. So now Mestre probably needs to go over here and try to further block the square. Oh, this is incredible fun. But Smile Hyphen gets the field invasion tile, and with that, it looks like Ukraine is going to have a boatload of points, and there's nothing that the Portuguese player can do about it, I think. So he can, I guess, he can still go here for 2 points. He can still draw the last Dorito to connect over here. But on top of that, he's still going to need to equalize the field, and there might be not enough time for that. Well, maybe it's still doable. Okay, maybe I don't care much about those 2 points. But I think I see something. Do I see something? Are there daggers? Yes. Okay. Check this out. It doesn't matter which move we play right now. Whatever. We might go for 2 points, or we might like set up some sort of farming platform somewhere. So our plan is, we take the last row Dorito to go over here and connect to the city. This is an excellent move from Mestre. He's setting up a real connection platform, which is blockable, but still, it's a real good connection platform. And then the idea is, if there's a dagger, which I believe there is, we can go over here, drop a farmer, and connect through the crossroads all the way here. If Smile Hyphen sees this idea, he can block. But he might be tunneled on some other spots, so I won't be surprised if he just goes here and tries to block some sort of field invasion, because you know what? Because there's still 2 crossroads remaining. It is possible for Mestre to go over here like this with a farmer and invade through crossroads like this, so this is an excellent opportunity. There's no way how Smile Hyphen can block everything, unless, of course, he goes here, which would immediately destroy Mestre's game. Or would it? No, it would not, because through the last dagger, actually, it's possible to get a crossroads and invade over here. Now, this would only give Mestre an 8% winning chance, but 8% is way better than 0. Pavlo Brin is suggesting Ninja on the south. Maybe that was earlier. Ninjas don't work. Maybe he was suggesting this for Smile Hyphen, yeah. Then that makes sense, and this is what happened in the game. But Ninja Farmers don't work for Mestre. Now, 10 points. No, 10 minutes for Smile Hyphen to solve this position. I wonder if he actually needs to do anything about it. Maybe with his lead, he can just score a little bit, like Meeple a Ruin, take a city. Allow Mestre to invade the farm and also to connect to the city. Well, let's see. That is a poor move, but it's not going to matter. The reason why it's a poor move, it gives such an obvious field connection back to Mestre. I mean, come on. Yeah, I'm just double checking, like, this opportunity is there. So imagine if Mestre had a dagger. He could have gone here, dropped a farmer, and then connected with a curve here and connected here. Now, there just isn't anything that Mestre can do, really, and he just throws in the towel. Smile Hyphen drew both of these tiles anyway, so there's nothing that David could have hoped for. Yeah, the crossroads, something that Mestre would have wanted, but a little bit too late. Not the perfect sequencing. Smile Hyphen gets the dagger, so my tile counting was correct. And I believe Mestre should place this tile anyway. I mean, he's going to lose on time, of course, but he's also going to lose on the board, and it is just better to see the final score. Yeah, excellent game control here by Smile Hyphen, with a little bit of fortunate draws toward the end. I kind of feel sorry for David for not being able to draw a tile that fit here, because it was a lovely find. It's a difficult find to realize that you have a city-related win condition when the game seems to be about the field. But a 75% invasion is not enough. It's not 100%. And sometimes you're just not going to draw. So a huge point difference of 36 points. It's nowhere near reflective of how close this game was. Yeah, actually, kind of the most exciting game of today, really. At least for me personally. Also because at least one of the players was slow enough that I could actually comment on some moves. And yeah, big, massive congratulations to Team Ukraine. Honestly, I think they're one of the favorites this year. They're a massive, massive rating favorite. They have a good team spirit. I know they have regular practice. And I'm just glad that they're in Group C and not Group G, where my team is. Alrighty. I'm gonna just go to Carcassonne GG so that you can see the updated score. It should be Ukraine 4, Portugal 1. Well, at least it says 3 at the moment. Yeah, Ukraine 4, Portugal 1. And the score from Smile Hyphen and Mestry77 has not been updated yet, but, you know, it's gonna happen in a couple of minutes. So, also the match that was happening in parallel, Romania versus Mexico, kind of finished predictably. It was close, but the team with 2 world champions on their roster did prevail. So yeah, we have a lot of streams tomorrow, but before we delve into plans and everything, the little surprise that I had prepared for the team, it was obvious for most of you. It is, of course, the national anthem, but I had real trouble setting up my piano camera after a software update that I got, and I wasn't able to do it. So instead of piano, you're gonna need to listen to the a cappella version. So, to congratulate Team Ukraine for winning their first match of the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship, all rise for the national anthem of Ukraine. Ще не вмерла Україні слава і воля, ще нам, браття молоді, усміхнеться доля. Згинуть наші воріженьки, як роса на сонці. Запануєм і ми, браття, у своїй сторонці. Душу тіло ми положим за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького роду. Душу тіло ми положим за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького роду. Congratulations again to Team Ukraine. And commiserations to Team Portugal, who fought hard. Just wanted to let you know. Por favor, eu espero que você ganhe pelo menos jogo finalmente, porque eu já aprendi a português no ano passado e eu queria muito o cantar no meu canal. Então, boa sorte nas próximas rodadas. Anyway, thank you all for watching. No, it's a bit too early. Let's just look at the next plans for tomorrow, and then we're gonna all go to bed. So first of all, tournament situation should be pretty interesting in Group C, as Thailand, Romania, and Ukraine are sharing the first place. Portugal, Mexico, and Lithuania are sharing fourth, I guess, for the moment. So it was an important game against Ukraine for Team Portugal, but I kind of just expect Ukraine to win pretty much everything. So The main encounters for Team Portugal are going to be against Team Romania and against Team Mexico. They kind of only really need to win one of the two if they want to qualify for the top 3, as long, of course, they manage to not slip up against Thailand or Lithuania, which is easier said than done. Alrighty, what's next? Oh yeah, plans for tomorrow. Thank y'all for the kind words. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow, calendar. Let's have a look. So actually, I haven't set up the streams yet, but I am planning to stream Finland versus Australia for sure. Catalonia and Hong Kong, not sure. Probably not. I might be a bit too busy with setups and other things. But in case I do, y'all gonna find out at a short notice. And then one of the evening streams, perhaps. Maybe Guatemala versus Colombia I could do, and then the evening streams I can't really stream anything because I will be playing myself. Although, I guess I shouldn't reveal this too soon. Oh, we have a lineups. Okay, Croatia versus Latvia. And this is going to be streamed on Nalaheim's channel, and I hope Icemaze's channel as well, but I didn't check that. So, okay, what are we having tomorrow? I'm playing against Vega Orion and Beluste against Krishna. That's going to be a blast. Oh, that's going to be some content to watch. Tompa99 versus Zone 222. Filip Buhinicek, the Croatian language streamer on a different platform, is going to be playing against Andres Mitrofanovs, who is returning to Latvia after several years break, and Lorky 5-3 against Yanis Nepomniachtchi. It should be an exciting match. A bit, definitely some work to do for Latvia, but we're gonna do our best. Yeah, so that's the plan for tomorrow, really. And wrapping up, just make sure to meeple the like button if you like anything about today's stream. Also, about the new layout, about the scoreboard, just feel free to comment anything. I'm super eager for the feedback, you know, experimenting, trying things out. In case you're here for the first time, make sure to subscribe for more competitive Carcassonne content like this. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.